Welcome to a Trucker's Mind podcast. I'm Eddie McGee.
It's your boy K Things.
And we're back, man. Episode 352.
Yes, sir.
All right, before we start, I wanted to thank you guys. We've made it, in the top 25 percentile of podcasts now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what that means, but, I mean, we're doing okay.
Yeah. Top 25, baby.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's go to the next level. Let's try to really reach the apex of the podcast world. If you know any friends, family, or people that love engaging conversation and comedy built in, send this podcast to them. Have them subscribe and send a 5-star rating if we've earned it.
Yep.
If you feel we've earned it, send that rating. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's get into it. All right. Starting off hot, Jamie Foxx's special. I don't know how many of you guys have seen that special yet. It's a hell of a special. That's pretty subjective, but I feel like it was deeper than a comedy stand-up special. To me, it was a symphony of talents. I feel like he displayed like a podcast where he was explaining the ups and downs, and then he went into obviously stand-up where there was satire, and he also did a musical performance. So all of his talents were displayed on one event, and I thought that was very special. But starting from the top, he was expressing himself in regards to his hospitalization and how he had a stroke and all kind of shit was going on with him, and he didn't realize that he had a stroke. He had been out for 20 days, right? Mm-hmm. So he was out of commission for 20 days, and when he came to, he couldn't walk or anything. So can you imagine you having some episode and then you wake up and you don't know what the fuck is going on and you can't walk, and it's just wild. Mm-hmm. But even during those moments, and I want you guys to remember this. Make sure you watch this special if you haven't watched it. But the theme that he had mentioned is, if I could stay funny, I can stay alive. Mm. You know, he was finding ways to display satire in a moment where he was going through the worst fucking time in his life. Even when his sister admitted him to the hospital, they said, hey, we may have to go into his brain to figure out what's going on. And she said, go ahead, you ain't gonna find shit in there, mm-hmm. right? And even though his sister, knew he was going through some shit, she was standing 10 toes down for him. But mm-hmm. to make a long story short, he was starting, man, it's just so much. It's kind of hard where to start with this shit. Mm-hmm. But Jamie was talking about after he had his stroke and learning how to walk and whatnot. And do you want to start with Holly? Is that a good place to start or no? That's too far in.
I mean, we don't have to go in chronological order, just whatever comes to your mind.
All right. Well, basically coming up from a coma and not knowing how to walk and not accepting it, he was just like, I'm fucking Jamie Foxx, bro. I'm Jamie Foxx. I ain't had no damn stroke. He's in denial. He's accomplished so much. He's reached the pinnacle of success in film and as a musician and all of these different things. And he's having an attitude because of his situation. It then becomes like it gets squashed by this, what do you call it? Was a physical therapist?
Yeah, I think she was a physical therapist.
Yeah, she was teaching him how to walk again.
Mm-hmm.
So I would assume she's in some form of physical therapy.
Yeah.
And her name was Holly.
Mm-hmm.
And she told him, like, hey, man, all that movies, all that shit don't matter. Do you want to fucking walk or what? He was like mad, like, man, who the fuck is this motherfucker? Who's this? And eventually she was just really short, cut and dry. And he was able to discard his ego. Mm-hmm. And I'll lead with this before we go any deeper. He mentioned that, he was in denial, and he said he talked to God. And he said, God, like, why would you do this to me? There's so many bad people in this world. Like, why would you do this to me? I can't walk. I can't do shit. And he was like, they already belong to somebody else, but you belong to me. Mm. Right? Mm-hmm. And having that conversation and the way that he mentioned the conversation with God, it's not like your typical Christian conversation. It was like cursing involved, and God was calling him a nigga and all kind of shit. Yeah. And I thought it was dope because I feel like everybody mentions that they talk to God differently, mm-hmm. right? And that's what he said. And it's crazy. He thanked God for a stroke because it was able to. The stroke allowed him to how do I put it? The stroke allowed him to display gratitude again, because you can imagine having it all and being all things all the time, and you're Jamie Foxx, you're the big shit, you're the big guy, you're big shit, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, when you have a stroke, you've been reduced to just like any other person in the fucking hospital that's trying to get well.
Yeah.
All those movies, all that shit don't mean nothing. Right? He also mentioned just the insecurities he felt from being in rehab, and he went from that to a woman having to wipe his ass, and he was like, "I'm not letting you wipe my ass. I'm Jamie Foxx. You can't wipe my ass. What the fuck are you talking about?" And he was also mentioned being insecure because he was in a coma. He hadn't seen his dick in over 20 days. Yeah. So he's like, "I can't let you see my soft penis in 20 days."
But then he realized that he forgot. He didn't realize that the nurse had been actually cleaning him up for the duration of his stint at the hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think overall, I just think that what he was able to do, like tonally, like just kind of walking this rope between comedy and drama and seriousness, and I just appreciated like how engaged the fans were. There was multiple times where you could see
people crying.
Camera cutting to the audience where women were wiping their tears and things like that. So I just thought that was dope, and it was one of those things where there wasn't a big promotion to this thing. I think it just kind of dropped out of nowhere, like Beyonce, and I just seen it trending online, and then when I tuned in, I was like, "Yo, this is crazy," And I think for people that are fans of Jamie Foxx, I think it makes you appreciate him that much more, because we don't often get like a very serious side of him. Like he tells stories and things like that, but a lot of his stories has like a comedic tone to it. But we very rarely ever get this moment where he's just he's just kind of pouring his heart out. And he did it in a way that, he did it in his own way. And he, a lot of his comedy shows kind of look like that, where he's, doing kind of the funny songs, or he's impersonating somebody and singing like Prince or, somebody else like that. But, like you said, he was able to kind of show like all the facets of his talents. But I just think it's dope because he was able to not only, be, funny and tell his story, but also as like a reminder of what he's accomplished.
Absolutely.
And that kind of, he kind of builds it up in a way where he's like, "Yo, this is the reason why I do have a little bit of an ego, because I have the Oscar. I was Willie Beam, and I did I did do, some animated stuff." And he even left some stuff out that he was actually in that he probably could have mentioned. But doing all that, and it's like, yo, this is why I feel like I was untouchable. Like this is why I feel like I can't have a brain bleed, because I'm a superstar, actor, Oscars, Grammys, all, the whole nine. So for him to be kind of diminished to somebody that couldn't even walk, was, I would imagine that was very difficult for him. But yeah, I just think overall when I look at it, it just kind of like, I don't know. I think a lot of times we like to shoo people away. Mm-hmm. We like to call people washed, whether it's our favorite musicians, rappers or singers. Like, as soon as, everybody has that hot streak, that 2-3 years where they're on top of the world. And then after that, we just kind of push them to the side.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like say for like somebody was like a huge Nas fan back in the 90s, right? We dropping Illmatic and all these other things, and then all of a sudden, like, he may release an album or something that is not, up to, his standards, or we may not like it no more, and then we just kind of push him to the side.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even care about him no more. You don't listen to his music no more. And I think what I say that to say, when I seen this, it just made me appreciate Jamie Foxx's career.
Absolutely.
I used to watch, the Jamie Foxx show.
It was a great show.
Like my older brother literally had his, like, before, I think it's Unpredictable, I think is his album. Yeah. Before Unpredictable came out, and before he did like Ray and everything, he was still making music. Like he still had like probably like a little independent record label deal. And my older brother had his actual album. It was like a tape that I remember him having. Who knows where it's at now? But he had a Jamie Foxx, it was like an album before he was, the Jamie Foxx we know of today. But, so that's kind of how far, a lot of us go back. And even in Living Color and all these things, like that's like what we know him as. So I don't know. I just think that, like I said, I just appreciate him, like taking us on that journey. Like, this is where I've been, this is what I've accomplished, and this is the reason why it was so difficult for me to actually come to terms with the fact that I couldn't walk. And I had to break myself down. I had to talk to God. He even promised, God in there that he was going to go back to church if he could find a place that, really represented, what he believes a church should be. So, but yeah, it's a lot of stuff in there, so I'll let you out.
Yeah, man. And also too, the theme of if I could stay funny, I could stay alive. Damn, that can is loud as hell. Damn, yeah, that sound like a weapon. All right. He said, if I could stay funny, I could stay alive, and I think that that's important to highlight that because that's a part of his identity. And it's like with us here at this podcast. We've both been through a lot of things during these 7 years. I lost my father, and Keith has lost family and friends and all kinds of shit. But this podcast has become so much of our identities that we show up and we appreciate the listeners and we want to speak to people. And I feel like God has put a calling on my life to communicate and talk to others. And that has been a beacon for me. And as far as with Jamie, that's where I feel like it's a relatable thing. If you've been funny and talented your whole life, you can't let a scenario such as, a hospitalization take that shit away from you, man. You got to be able to fight through it. And I think he did that. He also mentioned his daughter, or his daughters held him down, his daughters and his sister. Like all the women in his family held him together. But there was times when his family became a little too volatile inside the hospital, and it would make his vitals go like crazy. And in order for him to live, the doctor said that they had to remove his family so he could have, steady vitals. But his youngest daughter would come in there and play guitar for her dad, and his vitals would just stabilize and he'd be calm. And he mentioned that. And he performed with his daughter. She did a solo with the guitar, and she was really fucking good, by the way. She was very talented. And then they had a song together, which is beautiful. That's the one that got me. When his daughter and they had the duet up there, I was like, oh man, this is so deep.
He said, "You better play that guitar."
Yeah, he said, "You better play it. You better play it." And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, man. And what I do love about the way he did this special is he didn't do it like a standard stand-up comedy thing. I feel like the way he expressed it was so masterful because none of us could quantify the experience of being hospitalized with a serious stroke and a brain bleed. But the way he expressed the emotional roller coaster, like he's cracking a joke talking about, oh, he didn't want the nurse to see his dick looking small. And then in the next moment, he's like, I didn't know if I was going to live or die. And then the next moment he's cracking jokes about, doing impersonations of Jay-Z and Denzel Washington. He said they thought that he had mental illness issues because he kept acting like Denzel Washington. But people didn't realize that was a huge part of his identity in order for him. He said he was just trying to stay alive. And that in itself meant so much. He went through a string of like 6 or 7 fucking impersonations. He did Denzel, he did Jay-Z, he did
Donald Trump.
Yeah. That was a good one. He did T.I. He did all kind of impersonations. They were hilarious. But it was just classic Jamie, man. It was classic Jamie. And I'm personally thankful that I've seen it, just based on the fact that even though you're not the one going through all of the shit, I think that a wise man learns from the scenarios of others, not just the mistakes of others. But through other people's experiences, you can learn a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's important to have gratitude now just look at where your life is now. Are your bills paid? You should be very thankful for that. Is your health decent? You should be thankful for that. Like, none of this shit is promised.
Yeah.
The way and as you get older and the more people pass away in your life, death puts things in perspective, man. Mm-hmm. You know, we're living on borrowed time. And I think that Jamie, thank God for that stroke, because it made him realize that.
Yeah.
None of us are invincible, man. Absolutely none of us. When I see people and people are like stuck up, or they're, you know, full of themselves, or they're angry all the time or whatever, it's like, hey, man, you really don't have time to be that way, because you're going to fucking die, bro. Mm-hmm. The way death works is me and Keith could be talking on the podcast and one of us could fall dead. That's how death works. Mm-hmm. It's important to have appreciation for what you got, man, because once that shit's over, it's over.
Yeah.
It's done. In the last 4 years, I've experienced a lot of death in my family. My grandfather, my father, you know, my great aunt, just a lot. Even a good friend, teammate of mine, one of my old teammates, two of them passed away, you know, and a coach passed away. So I've seen a lot of death, and that in itself made me appreciate life. Like I'll be going to like up north or to Riverside or wherever I'm going at work that day, and I'll just be savoring the moment. I'll just look at the clouds and be like, damn, thank you, God. It's a beautiful day out here. Mm-hmm. You know, because this shit is all temporary, man. Mm-hmm. If you really think about life, it is so temporary, man. Like, there were people just like me and you. Everybody listening to this pod, I need you to really zoom in on this message I'm about to tell you. Everyone that's listening to this podcast, and even me and Keith, there were people just like us over 100 years ago, and they're all fucking gone. All of them. They're all gone. That's important to highlight. And that's how quickly you could be forgotten on this planet. I would just think it's important to make your mark. Mm-hmm. Just focus on making your mark. Even if you're impacting one person, if you're impacting a kid, if you're impacting somebody in your family, whatever you're doing, just focus on impacting somebody, because your time could be up. Just try to do something to leave your mark here.
Yeah. I think one of those things you said, just that gratitude, that's a very, very important element to his special, you know, just him being able to, I think a lot of times, like, God puts us in those situations, or I wouldn't say puts us, but allows certain things to happen just for us to slow down.
Absolutely.
You know, like, you know, I feel like sometimes we just, you know, we don't really stop and smell the flowers. Like, we don't really spend time with our loved ones the way we should. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes, you know, God will allow certain things to happen so that we're forced to slow down, and, you know, and maybe that was something for him. But I think the cool thing about his special, what I'm hoping is that, like, that was just like the beginning of, you know, him doing like 2 or 3 more of those, because I feel like that one was obviously like the very personal, you know, right, version of it. But, you know, Jamie Foxx is like super talented. So I would love to see him, you know, up on stage more, like him doing maybe another special sometime the middle of next year or something like that. You know, like a whole, you know, Dave Chappelle, I think he had like four specials or something that he signed a Netflix deal for. So, yeah, it kind of seemed like that. It seemed like, hey, I'm back, y'all. Like, you know, I'm back doing my thing. But, you know, he does movies and music and everything. So who knows, like, you know, what if this is going to be the beginning of something. But, you know, I would love to see him doing more stand up.
Absolutely. I think it just reminded me it gave me nostalgia a little bit, because it made me think about Jamie Foxx back in the day when he was doing stand-up and playing the piano and just displaying all of his talents at once, but making it funny, engaging, entertaining, all of it at once. Mm-hmm. And he was even, and this is something we have to talk about. He kept mentioning people call him a clone, and from the looks of it, it looks like it was really annoying the fuck out of him. Mm-hmm. Because he was like, you know what? Even after I tell y'all I'm not a clone, y'all gonna go on the internet and say that's exactly what a clone would say.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He said that people see him out in public and be like, "That ain't Jamie. That's a fucking clone.
That ain't him.
That ain't him. That's not him." Yeah, that was hilarious. Yeah, but I think that he has a pulse. Well, first of all, he has 2 young daughters. So even if you're older, you get a pulse of what the society is thinking about you and saying about you, because your daughters see it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, young people have a connection to recency and current things that you could never know. Because I think the one that puts us up on a bunch of stuff is your brother. Freaking Quante will tell us things that happened like 6 minutes ago, and we'll be like, "What the fuck? What's going on?"
Yeah.
I guess it was a shooting. He just put that too.
Yeah, it was a shooting at
the mall.
Valley Plaza today. So they just said there was an active shooter at the mall. So
That's crazy.
yeah, I don't think much details have came out on the news yet, but yeah, that's what's going on.
Yeah, and I don't want to get off topic at all, but I will say it's annoying to me when I see these things or I hear them, because I feel like active shooters have infiltrated every safe space that we've had. It's been churches and movie theaters and fucking schools and every place has been infiltrated by an active shooter, and it's annoying. And I mean, like, goddamn, do I need to bring my pistol every time I go to fucking Walmart now? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, and I think too, like, if you think it's like cool to shoot at the mall in any capacity, whether there's an op there or whatever, because I don't know if it was gang related or if it was, somebody trying to do some mass shooting, whatever the case may be. I just think, like, I hope they just lock you away forever. Because that type of stuff, dude, there's people in there, they just want to buy a present for their daughter. You know what I mean? And they go in there and they got to deal with niggas shooting at each other.
Yeah. It's bad enough that a lot of parents are in a tight spot because it's December, close to Christmas, and they got to spend a shitload of money to get their kids shit.
Yeah.
And now they got to duck bullets too?
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, man.
I think there's going to be a huge shift in the way that the Valley Plaza moves, because there's been too many shootings at the mall. And it happens partly because it's a centralized location. Like, everybody, you don't have to go to the mall, but that's just like, you got clothes there, you got shoes there, you got jewelry there, you got, cologne and, food, all these things. That's kind of just where people here go. And, a lot of times they run into people that they probably don't like, but
keep that shit in the street though.
Because the thing that's about what I'm saying. Go drive, but niggas know where each other live. Right. So just drive to his house and do it. Don't do it at the mall.
Yeah, because there's a bunch of tax-paying citizens that just want to take their kids out for some ice cream and buy them a video game. And now the kid is traumatized for life because you brought your punk ass in the fucking mall.
Yeah.
It's insane. The last shooting happened in the mall. How many shootings? There's been 2 or one other one?
It's been like 3, at least 3.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You're gonna make that place somewhere that no one feels safe.
That's what I'm saying.
That ain't it, man. I mean, I'm old, man. I don't go to the mall anymore. Every blue moon I go there, it's just to get some Dodgers gear. But I mean, you imagine getting a Dodgers jersey. You put it on, you get shot. Now you fuck my jersey up.
Everybody got to go to the mall for some, one way, shape, or form. Whether you going to Target or, you might have bought some, some clothes or, that's where the shoes are. If you buy shoes, that's pretty much the only place you could get them. So
it's fucked up, man.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, back to the original topic with Jamie. Also, too, I hope we didn't blow by anything else important because we got to talk about the birthday situation. Recently, he just got hit in the face with a glass on his birthday, man. This is really fucked up. And this happened just yesterday. Actor Jamie Foxx required stitches after he was involved in some sort of altercation in Beverly Hills while celebrating his birthday on Friday. According to the spokesperson for the Django Unchained and Ray Star, police were dispatched to Mr. Chow, a high-end Chinese restaurant located at 300 block of North Camden Drive, at 10:10 p.m. after learning of a reported assault with a deadly weapon, according to Beverly Hills Police Department. Upon arrivals, officers found that the reports of assault with a deadly weapon were unfounded, but instead that a physical altercation had broken out between two parties at a restaurant. They did not provide details leading up to what caused the confrontation. Though police did not mention Fox by name, a spokesperson told CBS News Los Angeles that he was at a restaurant for a celebration. Jamie Foxx was at a birthday dinner when someone from another table threw a glass that hit him in the mouth. He had to get stitches and is recovering, the spokesperson said. The police were called and the matter is now in law enforcement's hands. No further information was provided and it's unclear if any arrests have been made. Fox, now 57, just recently revealed his cause for his lengthy hospital brain bleed and a stroke. Okay, man. I think it's pretty fucked up when you make it past something like a brain bleed and a stroke and then a motherfucker hits you in the face with a glass. Like, that's like a bad stand-up joke. You know what I mean? Like you get busted across the face with a glass after this. Now, here's my thing. I don't want to draw any connections. However, I'm a skeptical person, but I'm like a healthy skeptical person. Meaning, I'm not trying to tie anything, but he did in length make fun of Diddy. He made a couple of Diddy jokes. I don't know how much power Diddy has. And the reason why I'm not trying to connect it, but I'm not putting anything past it, is because if you look at all the wild shit that Diddy is allegedly involved in, I mean, you can't sit back and say there's no possibility that that he doesn't have any power to do something or to send somebody. Because when somebody is extremely wealthy, it's not hard for them to find somebody to find you. And I can't confirm or deny that's what happened. But it's kind of convenient after your special gets released and you go to a birthday party and you're celebrating your birthday and you get assaulted. I'm just trying to figure out why the fuck that would happen. Right? That to me is a little off center, man. Don't know. There's nothing else about it. Maybe Jamie wanted to keep this private. I have no idea. But yeah, and the joke, he just did an impersonation of Jay-Z. He didn't say anything personal, but Jay-Z's going through his own shit with the 13-year-old alleged 13-year-old situation. And yeah, that's bad. That's pretty bad. We already talked about that, didn't we? No. I mean, it's not really nothing to talk about. It's not really nothing to talk about. It's just alleged
information coming out.
Yeah, but he made that. Jamie made that joke about Diddy, where he basically said, I didn't reach the pearly gates, but I could see it. And then I was in the hallway and it was kind of hot, and I turned around and I was like, is that the devil? Well, no, it's Diddy, right? And everybody started laughing like, oh no. He said he had a piping hot bottle of Johnson & Johnson. Yeah, that shit was hilarious. I just don't want to give too many, I won't say intimate, but too many in-depth details because some of you guys probably have not seen it.
Yeah.
But you get the gist of what we've seen in regards to this. I give this, I can't rate this because it's such a unique stand-up. But if I had to, I would give it definitely all the stars I could give it.
Yeah. I would say it's worth the watch.
Absolutely.
Just to hear his story, just to hear what he went through. So yeah, I agree with that.
Absolutely, man. All right, man. You got anything else to add on this?
Nope.
Yeah, because with this was such a good special. I just didn't want to cheat the listeners and give them, an in-depth look at what we seen. But yeah, there's that, man. Let's go ahead and switch gears. Switching gears. Devondre Campbell. If you guys have paid any attention to the NFL recently, obviously me and Keith are 49er fans, but this was a story that made headlines everywhere. Devondre Campbell was a linebacker for the 49ers, and the starting linebacker, Dre Greenlaw, went down with an injury, and the other one, I think it was Flanagan Foles, he wasn't doing well. So they said, hey, we need a linebacker. And Devondre decided he did not want to play. Previously, he started on the 49ers because Greenlaw's been out. He was second in tackles on the team. But, objectively speaking, I could look at him and say he wasn't great a lot of times. And, Dre Greenlaw just came back the last game, and he was cooking out there. He was just going crazy. And you can imagine seeing that while you started the whole season, now you're playing behind this guy. I don't know what Devondre was feeling or what he was thinking, but ultimately when he was asked to go in the game due to injury, he refused it, and the GM came down, John Lynch, and kicked him off the field. Now, there's been a lot of commentary from people saying like he's a quitter. He quit on his team. You don't quit on your brothers. He wasn't professional. All of these things. And I feel like all these things are valid. But the biggest story to me, or what I take from it, is this. The truest sign of who you are as a man or woman is how you react when you feel disrespected. And I think it's important to maintain integrity during that moment. But it takes a lot of self-mastery and self-work to make it to that point. Because whenever you feel disrespected, some people, they just go off and cuss you out. You motherfucker, fuck you, blah, 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 blah. And then there's some people that say, oh, fuck this. I can't do this. I'm out of here, right? It's almost like the fight or flight scenario. But in this case, he just said no, and he was taken off the field. But I can only imagine how it feels to be in the NFL as a veteran, and they basically look at you and you say, hey, you're not good enough. You're not playing at all. Wait. We need you. Go get in there, right? You have to prepare your mind for that, and you have to be professional. But as a human being, I can empathize with how he must have felt. I'm not justifying what he did, but I can empathize with literally being told, like, you're not enough. Just sit there. Mm-hmm. Like, just sit there, man. You're not enough. All right, wait. Actually, we do need you. Go ahead and do that. And I think that one thing he might want to consider is the fact that he is extremely blessed to be in the NFL when only 0.00000.1% of people actually make it as a professional football player. And you squandered that away. And there's a chance that he may never play in the fucking NFL again after that.
Yeah.
Right? There's some guy that got cut from a team, and he's sitting on the couch, and he's praying and hoping that he'll get a call from the 49ers. Mm-hmm. He watched that game, and he watched that guy quit on the team. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to get all biblical, man, but whenever you're in a situation like that, please don't ever forget how blessed you are in that moment. Whether you're an NFL player or you got a lot of support for your family or whatever it is, you could very well not have all the shit that all the shit that you don't notice. You could, once you lose it all, don't lose it all before you realize that there's value there.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, this is the story and a tale of how you react when you feel disrespected.
Yeah, I think that Devondre Campbell has probably played his last football.
Absolutely.
I think that for me, I don't really have much empathy for his plight as like a backup football player. That's just the reality of football. That's the reality of any sport. There's depth charts for a reason. Devondre Campbell signed with the 49ers knowing that he was signing in replace of somebody that was on the injured reserve list. And knowing that person was really good, being Dre Greenlaw, so I just don't really understand it at all. It's like somebody like Cooper Rush, for example, who's played really decent when he had like a winning record and all that. And then him, then Dak Prescott gets healthy, and then all of a sudden he's like confused or frustrated or mad about it. Yeah, it's just like it is like you knew the situation coming into it. And Devondre Campbell is a good linebacker, but Drake Greenlaw is like a beast. He's Absolutely. Like an elite linebacker. So I just think when it comes to life, your emotions can't dictate your actions. And I think that that's what happened with him, refusing to go into the game when, I understand. I understand the plight. I don't really have empathy for it. So you are hurt because you didn't start the game, or you got pushed to the bench. But the opportunity that you had to go in there and make plays, you refused to go in. Mm-hmm. And as 49er fans and people that have been watching the game, we realize that D. Winters might be a little bit, better in that role. Like when D. Winters is just popping off the screen, you know what I mean? He's going in there making plays and stuff like that. So I think that, and what I would say too is a lot of former NFL players are saying the same thing, and they're saying the same thing because they know what it's like to be in that locker room. They know what it's like to be in between those white lines on the sideline and everything. So they understand that, there's certain codes that they kind of carry themselves under, and it's just like Emmanuel Acho has said this. He was like, you're playing for, the San Francisco 49ers. He was like, you got Dre Greenlaw that tore his Achilles in the Super Bowl, and he worked the entire year only to be able to play like the last, few games of the season. You got Christian McCaffrey, who went to Germany to get, blood work done on his Achilles just so he can come back and play. You got Fred Warner, who's playing with, a fracture in his ankle. You got all these different, you got
Travarius Ward's daughter just died.
Yeah, Travarius Ward's daughter passed away.
And Trent Williams.
His same
son,
thing.
His son just died. So
yeah,
you have players battling through real despair.
Not to mention you have Ronnie Lott, who cut his finger off to continue playing, which is OD. That's in my opinion.
It's a little nuts.
But
you can't finger anybody.
But no, I'm just saying like that. That's kind of the ilk that you're playing under, and you don't even have to do none of that. All you have to do is go into the game when you're asked.
That's it.
And you mentioned too, like we know people that were fighting to be in the NFL. I know. I could run off a few people that have had tryouts and maybe didn't make it, and Justin Cheetah, who bounced around the league a little bit and was playing on different teams, and he ended up getting hurt, and my boy Mercy, who also had a tryout, and these are people who would pray for an opportunity to be Dre Greenlaw's backup, and that's like, I feel like those type of things are slap in the face to them. But, even taking it away from like the NFL and that whole thing, I've been in situations, and I'm not going to act like I've been a person that I'm above like doing anything similar to him, because there's been a couple situations where I have done something similar. So there was when I was working I was a bouncer at a restaurant out here, and basically I was going to work, and it was like very loose. Like it wasn't like we had this set schedule and all these things. It was kind of like I had certain days that I 9 times out of 10 would come in, but they would usually confirm it. Like, hey, see you in a bit. Like, they'll shoot me a text like, I see you in a bit or whatever. And what was happening was there was a couple times where I was going in, and I would only work like a couple days out of the week. But there was a couple times I was going in, and on the way there, or like before I left, I would get a text from the lead security guy, and he would say like, hey man, such and such is going to come in, take the night off. And, as some, getting a day off is great, so nobody's ever going to complain about getting a day off. But it had happened like consistently a couple weeks in a row where they had did that, like, hey, don't come in. And I was like, all right, cool. Like 2 weeks off, it's like, that's cool. I'm gonna just kick it at the house. I don't want to go in anyways. But the last straw was one day I was probably like halfway there. Like probably, I remember I was turning right onto Stockdale. I was going down California. I made a right on Stockdale, and I got that text, and I looked at my phone, and it was that text like, hey, don't come in today. Like, such and such is coming in. And I was like, in my mind, I told myself that day that I'm not going to work again.
Yeah.
And then they called, there was another day where I was like, I'm not showing up. I'm not answering no text. Like, I'm going to treat y'all just how y'all was treating me. So they shot me a text like, hey, see you in a minute. And I just didn't even answer it. They was calling me. I just ignored it. Finally, I got a call from a number that I didn't have saved, and it was the boss there. And she called me, and I answered it because I didn't know the number. And she was like, hey, what's going on? And I was like, what's up? And then she was like, so you're not coming in? I was like, no. And then she was like, so like, why? And I was like, well, I got tired of y'all like jerking me around. Like, you know, I'm halfway to work and you telling me not to come in. And she was like, okay, that's how it's going to be. And I was like, yep. And she was like, all right. And then that was the end of the conversation. Like, I never worked there again. So, yeah, that's so I say that to say, like, I can understand why, you know, he would do something like that. But my situation was a little bit different. Like, I wasn't getting paid handsomely to do a job.
Absolutely.
You know, and it wasn't really like, you know, a situation where I was like really disrespecting the company. I felt more disrespected than anybody else.
It's still relatable though. It's still relatable because, you know, how you felt in that moment is probably exactly how he felt, based on the fact that he went from starting to not even playing at all. Mind you, I don't know what the coaching staff told him before the game. Maybe they said, hey, we're going to get him at least 50% of the reps this game. You're still going to get in there. But then he probably seen Dre Greenlaw was cooking. He was probably cooking crazy. And he was like, nah, we just got to keep Dre in there. And you would expect somebody coming from an Achilles to not start. And he's fucking starting. And he's going crazy. Also, though, I will say this. The biggest difference between you and Campbell is the fact that he worked hard to get there. He reached the apex when it comes to being an athlete, right? So you work for the position that you quit on, which is fucked up. That wasn't your end-all, be-all where it's your job. It was just a place for you to work at the moment. But he worked his whole life to make it here, to squander it, and that is a problem. You don't squander an opportunity like that. And another thing, but I'll let you go. But there's another thing I had to mention. I don't know if Campbell has kids, right? I don't know if he does, but I could imagine that if Devondre has kids and they get older and they have a conversation like, oh, what was your last game and how was your last game? All it's going to take is a quick Google search and you're going to see your dad walking off the field quitting the NFL. And it's going to be such a stark reminder as a man how you could have better handled that situation than walking the fuck off. Because now, for the rest of your life, anything that's on the internet will live forever. Like, and this is kind of just left field, but all these freaking OnlyFans people and all this shit is not going anywhere. It's going to be on the internet forever. I don't care if you're a pastor now and you're giving your life to God. It's still videos on there showing your butt. And the videos of you showing your booty hole are not going anywhere. And the things that you put out into the universe, nobody forgets them. So by the time you get older and you're like 58 years old and you're sitting around the table for Thanksgiving, and they'll be like, Daddy, I just seen this video of you was quitting with the Niners. What happened? And you'd be like, well, they didn't play me, so I quit. And it's like, but Daddy, you told us to never quit anything. You told us to give it everything you have and never to quit. Why'd you quit, Dad? Hey, man, I'm just trying to have the foresight to, I'm trying to help you, Devondre.
Right. Yeah. One thing I would say too, I think he got released by the Packers this past year, and it said before that he had signed like a 5-year deal. So I think he got released like 2 years into that deal. So I just think like it's a lot of politics already in the NFL. So I would just imagine like you would want, unless you're a guy, like, you're one of those like Patrick Mahomes type of guys, you would want to do everything in your power to just be able to stay on a team consistently. We know that there's like a lot of backup quarterbacks that can consistently stay on a team just because they don't make no noise. They go in, they do their job, and then they go home. You know what I mean? They're not causing no problems with nobody. They just do their job and go home. But when you're, you got to think like a guy like Terrell Owens, I think he probably had a couple more years of okay football left in him, but he was a person that had a reputation of, being like a bad teammate. So he got shooed out a little bit earlier. It's, even a Cam Newton, maybe he's still young enough to play quarterback.
Yeah,
there's quarterbacks that are playing that are older than him.
Absolutely.
But he has that reputation of, just not really, being the greatest person on a team. So that it's too many linebackers, too many hungry guys out there that's willing to do your job, probably getting paid less money, and is not going to be refusing to go in when their number is called. So, but I think for any young sports, any athlete out there, don't take this as like a justification. I think that his situation was, it's pretty unique, given
Absolutely.
the circumstances of the money and, the professionalism and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But you always got to be ready, whether your position gets taken, whether you were promised some role or whatever. All you can do is continue to work hard and be ready for the time when your number is called. Because more times than not, your number is going to get called.
It's just like, this is probably a horrible analogy, but it's like divorcing your wife because she didn't make you dinner.
Right.
Like, you've been married for fucking 10 years.
Right.
And dinner's been great. But she said, I'm not doing it this time. And you're like, fuck this shit. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I wanted macaroni and cheese, and you didn't make it. I'm fucking gone.
Right. The thing about it, too, is I don't know, what his pocketbooks look like, but
probably wasn't a good financial decision.
Not at all. He's 31 years old now. He probably had, at least like 2-3 more years where he could have been in the NFL in some capacity. Like, you still getting paid the same amount of money, and when you bouncing around the NFL like that, like it doesn't. I would imagine he's not like as well as he could be, just because he got, like I said, he didn't full out the extent of that last contract. So
yeah, he's done. The reason why I use that marriage analogy is because it's a scenario that you asked for. You asked to be married, just like you asked to be in the Super Bowl. It is it's a scenario in which you wanted, right? And you backed out of something that you wanted and that you worked for. Mm-hmm. And it was just at the snap of a finger, you made a decision that altered your reality. Now, the same guy that's walking off the field, you got to pick up the pieces to your life. And I think that, and I will say this is what we don't know. What if he made up in his mind, you know what, I'm done with the NFL. I'm retiring. What if that was the case? We don't know. Maybe, just maybe, he probably had a decent financial exit plan. And he said, look, man, I never want to feel like this anymore. I'm just done. I'm done with all of it. And he just retired on the spot. But he tried to come back to the facility. Maybe he was there to apologize. Who knows? All I know is he's done in the league, because if Antonio Brown is done, this guy's fucking cooked.
Yeah, there's better players that are done.
They walked off and they never had a job after. AB is fucking done.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the death sentence. If you want to end your NFL career early, just walk off and then you're done. You're done. You don't have to make a announcement that you're retiring. You've been pushed out into retirement, man.
Yeah.
Now the positive is this: if he has good financial planning and whatnot, and he's only 31 years old, so he can retire at the top of his game.
But the thing about it, like, I don't know what you would do. Like, because more times than not, like, however, I don't know how much he's made over his career. Let's say it's like 30, I would say like 30-something $30 million, right? Which he probably only sees like a little less than half of that. That's not money that you can, I don't even know if it's that. I wouldn't even say it's that much. Mm-hmm. But however much it is, it's not money that you could just live the rest of your life comfortably, with your family. And
it is if you're responsible. Now, this is what it looks like here. Let's see here. All right, experience 8 years. I'm looking for the contracts here. Career earnings. Here we go. 8 seasons. He's earned $39 million.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's damn good money. Damn good, but
you got to think 39.
But you got to pay taxes in every city you play in.
You pay
those taxes, and
then for being in top 1%, and then you also paying your agent, who's probably getting like 10, 20, 15%.
About $17 million he's in.
So yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, you're probably getting,
he's probably earned around $17 million because of the taxes and you're getting taxed for every city. So when you
He's probably touched 17, but then you got living expenses.
Absolutely.
But with that amount of money, it's not enough, and like unless he invested in some businesses or whatever, that just by itself is not enough where he could live the rest of his life without working again. And that's where I think he screwed up.
Yeah, because a lot of it's like 72% of professional athletes, they retire broke. And they retire broke because with all that money, you've created a lifestyle that is depleting the money that you get. Yeah. So as soon as you get it, you burn it. If you guys haven't seen it, I strongly suggest you watch. It's called 30 for 30, and it's called Broke. And it's this it's like I won't say chronicling. I'm trying to think of the right word. It chronicles athletes that have been in the NFL and went broke. And it tells their stories, and it's sad. There was this one guy that he was dating this chick, and they got in an argument, and when he went to go check his bank account after that, she had took half the money out. And he was like, "What the fuck? What's going on? Why'd you take half the money out of the account?" She said, "Because I thought you was gonna leave me." This is the type of life that NFL players are living. Even the women they pay for. Even the women they're with are paid for. That's what I was trying to say. She was scared that she wasn't going to have access to the money. So when they got in a big argument, she went to the bank and took half of it out.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I mean, that is wild. And then the guy, I forgot his name. Oh, my God. I'll find him. But he ended up getting so broke, he ended up working at a software store.
Dang.
And what's crazy is he got a settlement from the NFL after he retired for X amount of money. And the first thing he did was take that money and go buy a brand new H2 Hummer when they first came out. Bought the H2 Hummer and bought some other stuff and barely had a couple $1,000s left. But it's because he had so much bad spending habits that he ended up keeping the same dumbass spending habits, and he just ended up broke. I think his name is Leon Searcy with the Jaguars. But yeah, man, and you can look up his Leon Searcy. Let's see. Where is he at? Okay, Leon Searcy's 54. Let's go to contracts. This will give you an idea of how much money these guys have earned. Team rankings, career earnings. Come on, buddy. Come on, internet. Ugh, God. Contract details. Okay, 4 years. That was an old one. 92 to 95, 4 years, $4 million. Yeah, that's definitely not. That's like a '90s contract there.
$1 million a year.
Yeah, yeah, they don't do that now. Here's the career earnings, seasons, career earnings. It doesn't say. Son of a bitch. Okay, that's not helpful. But he made a lot of money, basically. He ended up with the Steelers and the Jags. Yo, I'm getting tired of Spectrum's internet, man.
It's bad.
It's bad, man. It's bad.
Yeah. They got to do something different.
Yeah, they definitely got to do something different, man. That ain't right.
But yeah, I think we kind of touched on it all. But I just think Devondre, hopefully you got your degree, man. You know, maybe you can get a corporate job or something like that. But then again, with that, I don't know if they would want to hire somebody with that type of mentality. You know. When the times get rough, you're just gonna walk off. You know, I think that they would probably vet their employees a little bit better than that. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Well, best wishes to this guy because he's done. Stick a fork in it. This guy is done in the NFL. Switching gears. Speaking of a guy that shot himself out of his own life, Luigi Mangione. What do we know about mysterious? Oh, I got the wrong damn link. Damn it. Let me go back. I'm about to start talking about the drones that we've been seeing around this motherfucker. All right, here we go. All right. The CEO shooter. Who is Luigi Mangione? High school valedictorian ID'd as suspect in CEO killing. The 26-year-old man had a 3-page document with writings suggesting that he had ill will towards corporate America, police said. Police arrested 26-year-old man Monday on firearm charges and publicly identified him as a person of interest, later charging him with murder in the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. The executive gunned down on a busy Midtown Manhattan sidewalk last week. The New York Police Department said the man was being held near Altoona, Pennsylvania, after an employee at a local McDonald's thought he looked suspicious and called police. At that time, he believed to be a person of interest in the brazen targeted murder of Brian Thompson, CEO of United Healthcare, last Wednesday in Midtown Manhattan. NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisk said at the press conference alongside Mayor Eric Adams, Eric Adams still allowed to fucking be anything, identified the person of interest, Luigi Mangione. The commissioner said that he had a 3-page manifesto on his person that speaks to his possible alleged motivations and mindset in the killing. A police criminal complaint charged him with a forgery, carrying firearms without a license, tampering with records or identification, possessing an instrument of crime, and providing false identification to law enforcement. He has not been charged in Thompson's death at the time. Yeah, he's dumb. And you risked it all for a double, man. You risked it all for a McDouble. You could have been free out here, but you risked your freedom to go to McDonald's and get a goddamn McDouble. Man, life is crazy, right, Keith?
Yeah.
Crazy life, man. All right, and here's another part of it. The McDonald's person. Pennsylvanian who spotted Luigi Mangione in Altoona McDonald's is a hero, governor says. The suspect in the killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in New York at McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania is a hero, Governor Josh Shapiro said on Monday. In a joint press conference on Monday night, leaders including Blair County District Attorney Peter Weeks and Shapiro provided an update. But here's the thing. There's a little bit of... here it goes. I want to begin by thanking our fellow Pennsylvania resident who acted as a hero. Shapiro said a Pennsylvania resident saw something early this morning at McDonald's and said something to our local police. And the customer recognized, notified an employee, and wanted someone to check it out further, Bivens said. Shapiro said officers in Altoona Police Department acted swiftly on Monday, and he called the community to come forward with any information related to the situation. All right. What's funny about Josh Shapiro is Josh Shapiro said that the shooter is no hero. He's no hero. In America, we don't kill people in cold blood. And Josh Shapiro is the same motherfucker signing his autograph on bombs that are being dropped in fucking Ukraine. This is the same guy.
Yeah.
This is the same guy signing bombs. Like, here's the thing. I'm not trying to give the CEO shooter, Luigi, that's a hell of an Italian name. My question would be like, hey, where's Mario, goddammit? Where's Mario? But Josh Shapiro, excuse me. Josh Shapiro is a guy that said we don't kill people in cold blood while also being the same motherfucker that's signing bombs. It's just I just think that people in government are the last motherfuckers to be saying anything like that. People that the CEOs of large conglomerates and companies like fucking United Healthcare should be the last motherfuckers saying what's right and wrong. The amount of you guys got a whole graveyard in your backyard of all the people that are dead, and you are commenting on someone else's like being shot. I can't play the moral police here. All I can say is I'm not vouching for them. Like I cannot. Based on the knowledge of what I know about these people, fuck no. Not at all.
Yeah. I mean, I think Shapiro's a hypocrite in a sense. I think that signing your name on a bomb is a little different. I just think that when what was happening was the internet kind of like romanticized this guy. Like, there was a lot of women that were attracted to him. Yeah. And I think that that's kind of what he was responding to.
Women love killers.
Yeah. I just think that he just wanted to say like, hey guys, like stop. This is like, he didn't do like a good deed. Like all he did was murder somebody.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think that's kind of like where I was kind of standing on the thing. I don't think that, you know, we should be celebrating somebody getting murdered, especially in the way that he got murdered. And, you know, and rightfully so, because I think what he wanted to do was put out a message out there just in case somebody seen him and be like, oh, you know, like, I'm not going to say anything. I think that he was just trying to, like, you know, put a message out there to let people know, like, yo, this guy is not like, you know, some sort of hero. You know, he's not like some sort of Robin Hood. He murdered someone. So, but I think, excuse me, overall, I think this Luigi guy, at first I was like, oh, this is like a movie. Like, this is like a hitman movie, you know, where this guy's like this genius level hitman where he, you know, he's probably like hiding his identity, and he's like, you know, only spending cash, and, you know, he's probably we talked about him having the little Kendrick Lamar phone. I forgot the name of the phone.
The light phone?
Yeah, the light phone. We talked about him, you know, doing certain things like that. But then come to find out, like, he's just a young, dumb, like, person that was disgruntled. You know, this 26-year-old man. For you to be wanted for murder, and you in McDonald's in broad daylight eating a hamburger, like, it's just that's mind-boggling.
Yeah, have you not paid attention to any media, you idiot? Here's a guy that has a lot of formal education. He was a valedictorian. I think I just read that. Mm-hmm. So he's a smart guy. One of the guys, he graduated the top of his class. Mm-hmm. But I mean, formal education doesn't mean shit. You know how many smart people that are fucking idiots at the same time? Mm-hmm. I know tons of people that have formal education, that got degrees, but they have no common sense. Mm-hmm. It's like, hey man, like, don't put that over there. You're gonna light it on fire. What do you mean? Mm-hmm. Dude, that has a high flash point. You're gonna blow something up. Oh, I mean, it's gasoline. That's all it is. It's flammable, you fucking idiot. Put it down. Mm-hmm. You like, how did you get a degree in business, motherfucker? Are you that stupid? Yeah. You know it's bad for business when you blow things up, right? Right. Yeah. So that's the thing. Formal education does not always, it's not always transferable to street smarts. You know, there's some people that there's a lot of people that made it through life by being street smart or having common sense. You know, like with me, I don't have formal education outside of high school, but I never stopped learning. Mm-hmm. I still learn things. It's non-formal, but it's surprising to me how many motherfuckers I know that are very smart with books, and that's all they know how to do. Mm-hmm. It's like, you idiot. Anyways, I needed to correct myself earlier when I mentioned the bomb signing. He signed it, and it was headed for Russia, not Ukraine. Josh Shapiro blasted for signing missile alongside Zelensky in Biden's hometown party of war. Pennsylvania Democratic Governor Josh Shapiro was lambasted online after he took time to autograph a missile over the weekend that potentially bound for Russian assets in the Ukraine war. So that's the thing too. We got to understand, even if, you know, you're more left leaning, you know, you got to notice that Democrats are not these peaceful fucking people that they make themselves out to be. Mm-hmm. They're not these law-abiding, peaceful people, just like the conservatives. Conservatives, they're pieces of shit, but at least they own it. Democrats don't own it. They act like they're the party of peace. They're not the party of peace. You got fucking Biden over here, you know, protecting his crackhead son. Yeah. And then you got fucking Josh Shapiro signing bombs. Like, these people suck. All of them suck. They're just terrible fucking people, right? As far as commentary outside of this, there's not much more commentary to have about Luigi, because right now he's just locked up. There's not any more details, and I guess they're still on the fence about giving the reward to the person that found him. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to call the tip line and not the emergency services to get the money. Mm-hmm. And people are online calling her a snitch and all of this, and it's like, hey man, you're a little too invested in this shit.
Yeah, that's weird.
You're a little too invested in this shit. Like, I'm not trying to protect the killer. Because let's be clear. If him shooting the CEO, right? If him shooting the CEO was a reflection of him looking at the healthcare system and how many people don't have the money and how much they're denied, right? And it's for like, it's trying to protect the average American and trying to bring their experiences to the forefront, I think he would understand somebody turning him in for a cash reward.
Right.
The same person that can't afford health care will turn you in at McDonald's, nigga. I know that for a fact.
Man, I would. Shoot.
Hell yeah. If I'm getting $10K, sorry, Luigi. Hopefully you find Mario in jail. You got to go, man. I'm sorry. Luigi, you better get some of them mushrooms off that video game. Because I'm about to turn you into the cops.
Yeah.
What's that one level? Where like do.
Yeah.
Dibber do.
I think that yeah, he what do you call it? He reached the level with the boss and he just failed. He failed miserably. Yeah.
Oh, what when you fought Cooper?
Yeah, or Bowser or whatever. I'm just saying this to keep the metaphor going. Like
this nigga lost to Bowser.
This nigga lost to Bowser.
You lost to Bowser. This dude is, man, come on, man. Cooper fucked you up. You didn't even make it past Cooper. God damn. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Dun 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 dun. Those that remember playing that game, you remember that sound. Mm-hmm. Whenever you died, it just dramatically changed. The song was like dun 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 dun. Mm-hmm. I used to hate losing a game. My dad used to be doing too much playing fucking Mario.
Yeah.
Some people back in the day when the controllers were all wired, they weren't wireless. So he would jump with the fucking controller and pull the whole system. I'm like, God, Dad, come on, man.
Yeah, you can't do that.
You pulling the whole game.
Yeah.
Like you ain't got no skills, man. Put the game down.
You could do that now. You could run around the house, shoot.
Yeah, this ain't Atari, Dad. You got to put that shit down.
Crazy.
Oh man.
Yeah, Luigi. Well, my first thought when I seen that, I was like, that guy doesn't really look like the guy in the photos, because, I mean, he kind of favors him, but I was like, that doesn't, like, how do they know that that's the same person? But I don't know. Like, I had big hopes for him being like this well thought out person, but you know, like I said, I was kind of disappointed that he's just a young guy that, you know, put together a 3D gun and with a silencer. And
yeah.
Because they were looking at the video like, oh, he knew how to recoil and he knew how to, like, dislodge the bullet when it was jammed, you know, all this other stuff.
It's a little too much praise.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah, so good. He's wearing a condom. Oh, fuck. Oh. Like, dude, are you jizzing right now? What the fuck is your problem? You're supposed to be the chief of police.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, look how he's holding that gun. He's so fucking handsome. Oh, my God. Oh. Women never cease to amaze me, too. Like, the fact that they're like, oh, my God, like, take me to jail with you, this and that.
That's crazy.
It's like, girl, if you don't cut it out. And women are known for doing this. Yeah. This is not a rare occasion. There was a guy that was the Night Stalker in Los Angeles that was murdering people. What's his name? I gotta look him up. Something Ramirez in 1985. Mm-hmm. This guy was a nut job. Hold on, Night Stalker. They had a documentary about him.
Yeah.
Okay, Night Stalker. Richard Ramirez. Mm-hmm. The dude was he's a fucking whack job. In 1985, he was sneaking in people's windows in Los Angeles, all over the city in 1985, and he was slicing them up. He was slicing them up and shooting them. And it was the same fucking case. Like, well, not the same case. It was the same series of events where he was going in people's houses and killing them. Yeah. And ultimately, one of the crime scene investigators busted Richard Ramirez because of his shoe. He had an indentation in his shoe. And the investigator was able to find out how many versions of that shoe came in and then narrowed it down and ended up finding Richard Ramirez. They found his dental records and his shoe imprint. And I'm like, dude, they found this in the 80s. So there's no way you're getting away with fucking crimes.
No, not in 2024.
No, you're not getting away with no crimes now. He got busted in 85, man.
That's how they caught Ted Bundy because of his teeth, his dental records.
Oh, because he bit one of those chicks?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Crazy. And and women were going crazy over Ted Bundy too.
Yeah, I think he was like eating booty, and then they just like they matched. They matched.
They matched it up. It's like, oh my God, you're murdering my butthole. And then they're like, get on the ground. It's like, why are you arresting him? He didn't do anything wrong. Not yet. He was about to kill you, stupid.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. There's another Netflix movie that came out this year. I forget her name, but one of those actors, little white girl or whatever. But it was real based on a real story where she was on a dating show. She wanted to be an actor. She was on a dating show, and she ended up picking the serial killer. Like the serial killer somehow ended up on the dating show, and she picked him to go on the date. I guess she didn't end up going on a date with him because she thought he was kind of weird, but it was based on a true story. But yeah, he had murdered, they said anywhere from they said he could have probably murdered like over 100 people.
Oh my God, did she chose this motherfucker?
Yeah.
And there was no clues? She's like, so what's your favorite food? He's like, cereal. Should have known this nigga was a crazy motherfucker. He's like, cereal, really? That's what you like? He's like, yeah. I like it cold.
It was kind of weird, like some of the questions they were asking, like, so at nighttime, like when when it's getting like the night's kind of winding down, like what are we gonna do? He's like, we're gonna get real hot, real heavy, real intimate. And it was just like real awkward, like conversation. Yeah, it was really weird. Yeah, even for like back then, it was just like it was really weird.
Wow.
Yeah. But I thought the movie was not great, but I thought it was like entertaining. I feel like sometimes like when you have those based on a true story films, I feel like sometimes we're learning. At least for me, this is how I look at it. Sometimes if I'm learning something like, oh dang, there was a serial killer out here that was really posing as like this photographer and he was murdering a bunch of people. I feel like I'm learning in real time, so like I judge it separately. Like, oh dang, this is really interesting information. But then also you could kind of judge the movie separately. Like, oh, they could have did some different here. Or like the way the movie ended was weird.
Can you imagine that? Like a murderer masquerading as like a director of a film, and every other scene he's like, cut. It's like, man.
What a freaking butcher knife.
Yeah. He don't even got that fucking thing to clap the cut. He just got the knife. It's like, why do you have a knife, man?
That's not actually how it goes, though.
What is it?
The clapper,
yeah,
or the slate. That's for the sound.
I know, but yeah. I mean, I'm speaking to other people that don't have knowledge.
Like, like you, Keith. But no, in class all the time, the kids be like, "Action," and I'll be like, "That's not how that works. It's not really." Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, this is what happens. You say, "Scene 5 alpha, take 1," and then so they do that to sync the image with the sound, right? And then after that, everybody be like, all right, everybody settle in, and then the director says action, and then the thing goes, and then the director says cut, and then that's the end of that.
Oh, well, everybody give it up for Keith. All right, give it up for Keith. All right.
Yeah. I always had this idea though, like if you really wanted to get away with some type of like murder or serial killer, like why wouldn't you do it on Halloween?
Damn.
Like if you have one of those little horror houses or something like that, if you really wanted to, or like a movie idea where, you have one of those little haunted houses and then you have people come through and then you could just like, because, ain't nobody really thinking about it like that. So, you could you can have like realistic dead bodies just kind of laying there. Somebody be like, dang, that look real right there. They did a good job on that one.
And I was like, damn, that look real, nigga. You got some candy? That nigga ain't got no candy. Let's get out of here. No, that murderer that was on the show, she was like, so, like, what's your favorite color? Red.
What's your favorite color? Black.
First is your favorite food is cereal, nigga. Now your favorite color red. Oh, this guy's definitely a murderer. This guy's got murder written all over him.
Yeah. That stuff is crazy. But one of those things that had me thinking was like, dang, it makes me a little how would you say, like, very concerned for like the women in my life, because I'm like, and these things happen at a very small, fraction of a rate, right? It's not serial killers that's just popping up,
right,
every day, but it's just like when you see those situations where, in that guy's case, a lot of these guys are charming, right? So it'll be like one guy or one instance, they played it out to where the girl was moving into her apartment and she needed help moving. And he was walking by and he seen her, and I don't know if he offered to help or she asked him for help, whatever the case may be. But how it played out in the movie was like he was taking pictures of her. And then all of a sudden, she got really uncomfortable. Like, hey, I gotta finish putting up the apartment, but thank you so much for stopping by. And he just kind of like attacked her, So it's just like, it sucks, it sucks for anybody, but especially like, women that don't have the physical ability to protect themselves in that instance, and they're just hoping that this is a decent person trying to help them, but it's a freaking serial killer. So. And he had like thousands of pictures of like him like assaulting women.
Oh my God.
Yeah, all kind of stuff.
The crazy thing, the Dahmer shit, there was the Dahmer show that was coming on, I think it was Netflix, was it? I think it was Netflix?
Yeah.
The Dahmer shit was wild because he was killing a lot of black people.
Yeah, black men.
Like, yeah, gay black men.
Mm-hmm.
And he was going to gay bars just to freaking pick up people and kill them, dude.
Yeah.
One black dude got away though.
He was the one on the stand.
Yeah, he's like, something don't seem right about this. It smells so bad in here.
Like, I like bussy, but Like, it usually stank when I finish, but nah.
I ain't even started yet. No, can you imagine you first walk in there and it stank bad, and he's like, he must be tearing something down.
God dang.
I think, I don't know if he just left or if he actually seen like a dead body or something. I forgot what it was.
I don't know if he's seen anything, but I think he tried to kill him. And he got away.
And he got away.
Yeah. Man, I would be curious to know, and maybe it's true, but I had this thought like, dang, can you be a serial killer in 2024? Because a lot of these stories we hear, at least the infamous ones, these are, 80s, 90s, you know
Absolutely.
what I mean? So I think it's possible because there are a lot of, there's so many like missing people, So I think that a lot of those people are dead already, but I don't know. I just thought about that, with technology and stuff.
I think that Big Brother, aka cameras, there's so many cameras everywhere in 2024 that even when you think you're doing something in the dark, you're not. Mm-hmm. And you're being traced everywhere, and there's nothing you can do about it. As long as you have that phone in your pocket, you're fucked. Doesn't matter what you do. And the crazy thing about it too is even if you don't have your phone, there's cameras everywhere. So if you commit a crime and you do anything, I'm talking about if you're driving anywhere or doing anything, and let's say you stop at Taco Bell at midnight and you just murder somebody at 11:25 and you get a Taco Bell Supreme and you use your debit card and they trace that car on that side of town around the time the murder happened, the tacos got you. The tacos busted you, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they're gonna use that footage. They're gonna everywhere they see that car or wherever, they're gonna pull it up. They're gonna ask every restaurant for their footage around that time, and they're gonna see that car.
Yeah, this is completely. I mean, not really related to what you said, but there's a crazy part in the movie that I was telling you about, where. So he basically assaults this girl, like same sort of situation, like, you know, young girl. She might not have even been of age. Young girl, you know, kind of like, you know, stranded, just kind of hitchhiking or something like that.
Right.
He picks her up and then they go to like this, you know, like he takes her to like this far out location where he says like, you know, let's take some pictures kind of thing. So they get out there and then like, he starts taking pictures and then it gets real weird and it cuts away. Like basically he pushes her and then it kind of cuts away. So it flashes to some other scenes and then it comes back and they're like laying next to each other. He's like crying, like sobbing. And she is like knocked unconscious and then she wakes up. And then like naturally her instincts just led her to be like, hey, like, everything's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I know, like, last night we got into some wild things and, you know, everything is okay. She's like, you know, can I just ask you one thing? Please don't tell anybody about this. And he was like, okay. Like, you know, so they gathered their stuff and then they got into the car and then they drive off and then his car is, like, running on E. So they stop at a gas station and he's like, hey, I'm running here. Do you want anything? And she's like, no, you know, I don't want anything. And then he goes into the store and then she just books it. And then that's how she survived.
That was so smart.
Yeah. So basically she just played on his.
That is exactly how manipulative women are. So I can't even kill you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn. And the thing about it though is like I think it's also genius because that's like she broke him down psychologically.
Right.
Like this guy is a nut job. He's crying after knocking me out, but I know he's probably going to harm me. Let me make him feel comfortable.
Right.
So we both could get out of here. And my first shot at getting out, I'm out of here.
Taking off.
And she did. That's genius.
Yeah.
Ted Bundy was with a woman for years and never killed her. And there was another girl that he just hooked up with her and they just used to fuck all the time. And she's like, I never knew he would do anything like this.
Yeah. I mean, it's the psychology. That's why I think, you know, some people find him so interesting is just the psychology of that. Like you kill everybody, but this one girl who, you know, talked to you a certain way, like you didn't kill her.
It was more than one. It was another girl that was like.
I'm talking about the other guy.
Oh, the other one. Oh. Yeah. And then Ted Bundy had this shit crazy where once he got a woman in his car, he had the lock set up where they couldn't get out. Mm-hmm. So where like when they would try to flee or run, it wasn't no handles in the car, nothing.
Yeah.
I'm like, this motherfucker, something else. And I think he was married also with kids and shit.
I think he did have a daughter.
Yeah, Ted Bundy was a nut job, like a real nut job.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I don't know how we got here. I guess because it was a spinoff of the kid killing people.
Luigi, yeah.
All right, that was funny. You said, it usually stank when I'm finished. Oh, man.
That's crazy.
Dang, bro.
Because they coming from the club. That's, man.
There's a gay black dude, too. You know he was athletic.
Ah, dang.
Dahmer wasn't fast enough to catch him.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, he's black. He's too fucking fast. Fuck. You ain't getting me. Oh, man. You imagine him telling the cops something was wrong because when I went in there, it was stinking real bad, like more than normal. More than normal. It normally don't smell that bad. And the cops not believing shit he's saying. They be like, all right. Just file a report.
Yeah.
Just file. I'm telling you, he eating people in there. He got dead bodies.
I think that's what was happening. Especially because it was gay and stuff. The police wasn't trying to hear.
They're just invalidating. It's like, all right.
Yeah.
You guys are getting. I've seen those Village People videos. I know. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
He's like, were you dressed up as the cop and robbers? Is that what was going on?
Yeah.
Are you guys tying each other up? He's like, no, I wasn't doing nothing because he was killing people. His body's in there.
I get it. You're a booty bandit. Just chill.
All right, we'll go check it out. Hey, your name Jeff Dahmer? Yes, I am Jeffrey Dahmer. We got a complaint. They said you got dead bodies, man. Let us check it out. Not right now. You don't have an option. Open up the door. No, not right now. All right, you're white. I'll let you off the hook.
Yeah, have a nice day. Yeah.
I think
he done her job here.
They got his ass, though. I think he ended up getting into it with the cops, too. And then when they pulled all the shit out, it was a bunch of people that got real live, like, pictures. Mm-hmm. And they was pulling out drums out of his house. He was using acid to melt people and shit.
Yeah, I think they were saying, I think it might have been stuff in the bathtub.
Yeah.
I think they were saying he was showering next to like corpses and stuff.
Yeah. Oh my God. He was eating them too.
Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't imagine, dude, imagine walking in there, just that stench.
Oh, man.
And then I know the neighbor was saying, like, you know, it was smelling bad too. So
he was eating birria tacos made out of
dang,
birria tacos made out of nigga strips. Oh, it's like,
dang! He was cooking meals for the dudes that was coming over.
Yeah, it was just another dude.
Yeah,
that's fucked up. Dahmer was a hoe. He was going through a real hoe phase.
Dang, ground nigga. some ground nigga tacos.
Oh no. He's like, this meat tastes all right, but it tastes like it got some Hennessy in it or something. What kind of chicken? What meat is this? This meat got some Dax Wave in it. Oh man, we gotta cut this shit out, man. Enough. All right, switching gears. Drones, planes, UFOs. Americans abuzz over mysterious new sightings. So if you guys have seen anything on the news or around, there's been a bunch of shit in the sky. And I don't know what the fuck is going on. It's above my pay grade because I still got to go to work. So I don't care too much. But yes, I still want to know what the fuck is going on. Something's afoot here. And we need to know what's happening. Okay? So let me take a little quick look at this article. All right. Chapman, New Jersey. The buzzing coming out of New Jersey. It's unclear if it's drones or something else. But for sure, the nightmare sightings are producing tons of talk. A raft of conspiracy theories and cran necks looking skyward, cropping up on local news and social media sites around Thanksgiving. The saga of drones reported in New Jersey have reached incredible heights. This week seems to have begun a new higher profile, but so far not getting explanations from federal and state authorities about what's behind them. Governor Phil Murphy wrote to President Biden asking for answers. New Jersey's new Senator Andy Kim spent Thursday night on a drone hunt. Come on, these fucking subscriptions. Drone hunt in rural North Jersey and posted about it on X. Now, there's been these sightings going all over the country and out of the country. And here's what I have to say about this. I personally think that these things have always happened. Always. But things like TikTok did not exist. So when you told people you seen something in the sky, first of all, anybody listening to this podcast right now, I know you have probably seen something in the sky that was unexplainable because it wasn't a plane and it was like a dot that moved up and then it went like left to right and then it shot backwards and it was horizontal and you're like, what the fuck am I looking at? And you couldn't take your eyes off it. And then you're like, if I told somebody about this, they probably call me crazy. Mm-hmm. They probably would call me crazy. But the fact that so many of us have seen these objects and we're posting them and we're catching them in real time, everybody's seeing them. But my thing is this. If ain't nobody shooting at them, right? Nobody's shooting at these things or whatever, then just leave them alone. Mm-hmm. And look, at the end of the day, this is the way I look at the earth, right? If we have conflict with another country and then we have a nuclear war and they blow us up, I guess we're just blown up. If the aliens come down and shoot us up, I mean, we get shot up. I don't know. I just don't care that much anymore. Mm-hmm. Like we're dealing with real life. Unless the aliens come down and pay my bills, I don't care what these niggas is talking about at all.
Yeah, I think I'm the same way. I feel like I don't know what's going on, and I'm not I'm not going on no freaking alien hunt.
Nah,
but
I
it
ain't
is
doing that.
mysterious that these, people are capturing these images. But what I will say is I don't think it's any different than back in the day, because we
No.
have, images of or video of, what people deem as like Bigfoot or Sasquatch and stuff
Right.
like that. It's a grainy picture.
Sasquatch, that's just somebody's uncle in the woods.
Uncle Sash.
Yeah, that nigga tripping. He just got out of prison. That's my Uncle Sash,
That's
man.
my Uncle Sash.
He need to get a job.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's my uncle. He got big feet. He wore a size 19. Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, but no, that's what I think. I think that these are things that are unexplainable, and we don't know what they are. We don't know if they're another life form or what. But who knows, man? I think more and more information will start to come out, though.
Yeah,
I think the more these aliens start to get comfortable with, like, how it is, like with an animal, they gonna like be standoffish for a little bit, and then the more comfortable they get, or the more they realize that you're not a threat, the more that they start to move in. So
we might end up chilling with these niggas. They might have one on the podcast. Mm-hmm. Alien come down. We want to know who got the fattest ass down here.
Oh, damn.
We trying to probe that. He was like, oh, this guy's crazy. This guy is insane.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what Trump's gonna do when he comes in January.
Yeah.
He's like, we're gonna build a sky wall and we're gonna keep the aliens out. They need to have legal documentation if they want to be. And their leaders are telling me, I can't confirm or deny, but their leaders are telling me that they got fat asses up there. An alien with a fat ass. I know, right?
Yeah.
Very unpredictable.
Yeah, you're gonna try to deport all the aliens.
It's like, we keep the red ones can stay, but the green ones gotta go. They gotta go to Mar-a-Lago. Oh man,
That's crazy.
it's like, we're gonna get the aliens to do the jobs that no one else wants to do. You're like, oh, okay, we've heard this play before. We've heard this shit before, Donald. This ain't new, man. Yeah, man. I just think that I think the government knows a lot more. And also, who are we to say that this is aliens? What if this is just, this is American technology that is suppressed? Because you got to understand, like we're like the stuff that we have going on is it's intentionally primitive. Let's think about the concept of a tire, right? That's so primitive. Why are we still putting air in tires? Think about it.
Nah, that's not. No, I don't believe that.
Well, no, I'm just saying, because there's a such thing as having a tire that's literally 100% rubber.
No, what I'm saying is that I went to the car museum and I seen all the different iterations of tires, and they've landed on this one because of all the bad. They've had like metal tires, like tires without air, and a lot of them didn't work for one reason or another.
Well, they had a successful tire that was, the rim was wooden, and it was surrounded in a thick rubber padded tire that was not air at all. Mm-hmm. So it's like,
In what year?
it was like 1800s.
I know, but the car is like 1,000 pounds now.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like a tire that is literally 100% rubber that would not explode.
Yeah.
It just seems a little primitive to just have, you're floating on air. I think it's probably better for suspension purposes, but I'm pretty sure they could make it work, man.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You don't think it? Come on, man.
Nah, I'm telling you, they've tried it all, and not necessarily saying that this is the best option. This is the best option for mass production with millions of people in America, and but I don't know all the engineering that goes into it. I just know that when you look at that wall, they had like all the different versions of like tires that have came through, and yeah.
Yeah, I can hear that gay black dude. I love these tires. They stink.
That one smell like Jeffrey Dahmer house. That bring back memories. That's crazy.
I think Jeffrey got the best tires. Life is crazy, right, Keith? Life is crazy. I mean, there's not a whole lot much to say about these UFOs, man. Yeah. We're going to probably see I think that what's going to happen, we're seeing these little, I'm going to tell you, in 2025, we're going to see the big one. I'm talking about we're going to see something so fucking undeniable that the whole planet is going to see it at the same time and be like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
There was a trusted source, a sworn officer that said he's seen 50 UFOs come out of the fucking ocean. 50. And it's like, dude, personally, I see it like this. I remember I said this on the podcast before. We're always worried about what's in the sky, but we never really talk about what's coming out of the ocean. The ocean is 80% undiscovered. There are things that are in the depths of the fucking sea that we have never seen. The Bible talks about the Leviathan, right?
I don't know about the Leviathan.
No, you don't know about it? Mm-mm. Let me look it. Right, I'm not the most biblical person, but let me go ahead and look that up. Leviathan. It says Leviathan and then Bible. Okay, Leviathan is a sea monster. Hear it out. A Leviathan is a sea monster and symbol of chaos and strength in the Bible. Old Testament. Leviathan appears in several books, including Psalms, Job, and Isaiah. Psalms 70. Job, excuse me. Psalms 74:14. Leviathan is a multi-headed sea serpent that God kills and feeds to the Hebrews. It's crazy.
That Leviathan meat.
Yeah, you was like, oh, this is better than the other meat I had. All right, Leviathan, the serpent, the symbol of Israel's enemies, who God will slay. So, hey, man, all I'm saying is this. I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, but, I mean, the Leviathan is mentioned in the Bible, right? So there's probably something down there, and once we see that thing come up, we're going to be like, oh, is that Godzilla? Right? Is that Godzilla? Or is that, like, something biblical coming out of the sea, man? Mm-hmm. That's crazy, man. I don't know. I think we're going to see something probably like a big, massive ship that's going to be like, it's going to be visible and then it's going to disappear. Mm-hmm. And it's like,
next year?
Yeah, probably in 2025, we'll come back to the podcast. And once we see this big object, I'm going to be like, hey, man, I don't know. They might want the smoke or they might be coming back to take the earth back. What if they're coming to stop us? What if the aliens have the foresight to know that we're going to completely fuck this planet up? And they're like, hey, we got to stop these motherfuckers. Like, enough is enough. We're on the brink of a nuclear war. They're talking about bringing out the nukes.
Yeah.
So we got to stop these idiots, right?
Yeah.
And aliens come down and they hella chill. They're like, hey, we don't want no problems. You know, we heard Killers of Mars' new album. It was dope. But y'all niggas got to calm the fuck down. Okay? Y'all could have Drake, but we got to take Kendrick with us. Come on, man. You gonna leave us with Drake, man? Fuck.
That's hilarious.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Then you find out that this whole time Kendrick was really an alien. God damn.
He did have that song. He do have songs where he sound like an alien.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I was in a pine box, that's his communication with the aliens.
Yeah.
If I was just an alien.
You're the death of me. The death of me.
Yeah.
Damn. All right, man. Let's go ahead and close it out with this last one. Be a quick hitter. Switching gears. Travis Hunter recently, wide receiver slash DB, has been confronted with a lot of news about his girlfriend, or not confronted with news, but people basically telling him he has to get away from his girlfriend.
His fiance.
His fiance. There's been a lot of instances where she's been berating him or being very disruptive when he's trying to be professional. And it's happened enough to where it's gotten the attention of a lot of people. More specifically, comedian Godfrey. Comedian Godfrey said, hey, man, I've been around a long time. I'm telling you, you got to get rid of that girl, man. You got to get rid of that girl. And to add on to the story, just today, we were probably going to avoid this topic, but today he had a signing with a bunch of fans, and his girlfriend was like starting an argument with him while he was signing jerseys and hugging fans and taking pictures. She was being disruptive during that. And during his Heisman ceremony, Coach Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, had to get his fiance to stand up once he got the award because she was just sitting down.
Yeah.
It is absolutely embarrassing. And let me say this before I go for.
I will say when that moment was not as egregious, but it was just one of those things that just added on to the other stuff that was going on. Because it wasn't like she was just sitting there like mad. She was like, clapping for him, but he told her to stand up.
Let me tell you something. The reason why it is egregious is because anytime you're with somebody, regardless, ladies, men, whatever, there should be a certain amount of enthusiasm and involvement in a person's growth, right? He's going into the NFL draft, and he just won the most prestigious award of any college player, right? And you are sitting down, not looking that interested, and then in other times, you're mad at him out in public about something that doesn't make any sense, and now you're starting an argument. Here's the problem. I feel like when you level up in life, it will expose the partner that you have. Ladies, you need to listen too, because sometimes you said, "Hey," some women are like, "You know what? I wanna be the manager of this job, or I want to be a lawyer, or I want to work in healthcare, or I want to be a nurse, or I want to be a doctor." Right? You can't be with a weed smoking, lazy, lousy nigga that's sitting on the couch. You got to get rid of that motherfucker, because his inability to aid you in your success it's not going to work. It's not going to mix like oil and water. Mm-hmm. What do they say? New levels, new devils, right? So each time you try to reach a new level in life, it's going to expose the people around you, man.
Yeah.
And imagine this, bro. And I'm going to put it like this. If I'm with a woman and she says, I want to be a lawyer, and she's serious about it, that's going to change the dynamic of the whole relationship. It's going to be real serious around this house. If I have to buy her law books, if I have to help her with her homework, if I have to help her with certain things, I'm going to do that, because it takes that. And if you want to see the person you're with be better, that's what the fuck you need to do. So sometimes if it requires you to be quiet at certain times, just shut the fuck up and be quiet. If it takes you having to display enthusiasm. Even if they're doing something that you don't have any stake in, be supportive. But when you can't even be supportive, come on, dog, that ain't it. Another thing, too, she mentioned in an interview, he wasn't my type at all. He wasn't my type at all. He DM'd me, and I just let it sit in my DMs for 2 months. And then eventually, I guess he kind of came around. And I'm like, dude, women don't talk like this when they really respect you. Men don't, let me tell you something. Men don't sit here looking for love. We don't look for love from women. We look for respect. We look for respect because respect is love to a man. Women want love. Men want respect. When a woman doesn't respect you, she's going to be acting out, doing all this shit that's not conducive to any relationship. Mm-hmm. And this is what's happening here. I'm not one to really comment much on people's public affairs, but he definitely needs to drop this chick. If she's doing this shit now, it's only going to get fucking worse when he's in the NFL making real money, going from city to city. If she think that he's, and also too, some of y'all might be with a partner that's jealous of your ass and you don't even fucking know it. So this guy is literally receiving praise from people. And mind you, you're Travis Hunter. You're the #1 player in the whole country. The amount of women that probably approach him and try to DM him and get him and all of that, it's only going to get worse in the NFL. If you're not built as a woman to be around a man like that, kick rocks and get the fuck on. Just get on. And if you're a man and your woman is trying to do something good and you don't help her at all, you better off backing away and just letting her do that shit alone.
I think, me personally, I think people are too invested in his relationship. And it's one thing if it's coming out of love, if it's coming from Deion Sanders or Shador.
Yeah.
and they're kind of giving that brotherly or like, fatherly conversation. I just think the internet is like, there are a couple instances where I'd be like, that doesn't look good. Right. And then, but I also think there's instances where they just like, she's given them the ammunition to pry now. But I would say part of it too is that they made their relationship public. Like they have YouTube channel and things of that nature, and they are very, they're very open with their relationship, and I think that for me, I don't have that stance like he should break up or he should leave, just because I don't really know what their I only have a glimpse of what their relationship looks like, and I think that there's a reality that comes with like his rise to stardom, and it's something that is probably new. It's new for both of them. I think it's new for Travis because he's always been a really good football player, but you can be everybody's a guy in high school, but when you are starting to become like, it wasn't a guarantee that he was going to be at this position. It wasn't a guarantee that he was going to be, potentially the top 3 pick, first, second, third, who depended on, who wants who or the team or whatever the case may be. That wasn't a guarantee, but now it's real. Now he is one bowl game and one, I don't even know if he'll work out at the combine, but he'll probably run the 40 and, do a couple drills and then, and be done with it, and do some interviews. And then, he's just getting ready for the draft. But that's where he's at now. And I know that, for a woman who's like taking it all in with her, fiance, it is probably bringing forth a lot of emotions. And I would say, like, I'm not saying that she should leave or that he should get rid of her or whatever, but I would say that, like, how it looks, the optics of it, it's one of those things where if you guys can't figure out a way to navigate that as a couple, to where like she's like, whatever she's feeling, whether it's jealousy, whether it's like insecurities, or whether it's like disdain, or whether it's just she just feels overwhelmed, it's only going to get more and more like that. Like if his career goes the way that it probably will, whether he goes to the NFL and he balls out on whatever team, the Raiders or the Giants or whatever terrible team he gonna end up on, the Jaguars, is only going to be magnified from there. And I just think that there's a version of it where it could work out, and I think it's you see, whether it's Steph Curry or LeBron, I think those are the two people that have had like the partners before they got to the peak of their professional careers. Mm-hmm. You see, there's a certain, I don't even know if I'm using the right, I don't know if this word makes sense, but decorum is a word that comes to mind. I don't even know if I'm using it right.
No, you are.
But yeah, they just carry themselves a certain way.
Thank you.
They're quiet. They're behind the scenes. When Aisha Curry did start to speak out, like, we haven't heard from her since. But even Savannah has a podcast and stuff like that. But you don't really hear too many crazy like outtakes from her podcast.
No.
But yeah, I think if this is going to work, this is what I would say. If it doesn't work out, I wouldn't be surprised. If they don't end up making it across the line to get married, I wouldn't be surprised, just because of the way that she has been acting. And this is early. Right. This is very early. But I will say too, I think if there was a version of it where she, like, just how Deion Sanders can call Travis and be like, bro, I mean, you'd be like, hey, this, just from my perspective, I've been around the block, I've been married, I've done this, I've done that, I've had all the women in the world. I'm just telling you that this is not the one, right? That could be that OG talk. But I could also see a version of it where, like, that type of, like, Savannah or Aisha or, whomever that, that partner is of, even like maybe like a Kawhi Leonard's wife, or, it's just somebody like reaching out to her and being like, hey, I understand he's very popular, he's famous, he's getting a lot of money, blah, 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 blah. But this is how we move. Like, this is how the basketball wives are, or not basketball, but the athlete wives are supposed to move. So
it's not.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's that deep. I think that when you're with somebody, you're a representative for that person. And the way you conduct yourself is reflective of that. If you're a man and you respect whatever business or whatever your wife does, you can't be out in public being in women's faces and trying to holler at other girls. And you got to keep your dick in your pants. And you got to have some respect because you don't want to make her look stupid. You know what I'm saying? Vice versa. I think that as a woman, when you with a dude that's trying to accomplish something that's huge where no one hardly makes it, the NFL, if you don't know how to conduct yourself, they need to get rid of your ass. It's just that simple. It's basic respect. And on the internet, people are too invested in other people's relationships. They are. But it's also true people like me who really don't have an investment that can objectively look at how other people are conducting themselves, whether it's a man or a woman. I'm like, yo, they got to get left. Because you can't be out there doing that, dog. Okay, here's another one, too. When a person openly puts out there how much you're not their type and how they just left you in the DMs and they don't care and this and that, and it's like people don't look at that as a big deal, but let me flip it around and do it as a man. Yeah, she really wasn't my type. She was a little overweight. I normally don't mess with chicks that's that big, but, eventually I let her get a chance,
I think you added an extra caveat, though.
No, it's not an extra caveat. It's basically, I was disinterested in you. I'm making it public, and it's disrespectful, and I'm making you look like you had to work to even get around me. That is not okay, bro. In any capacity, whether it's a man or a woman doing it. Like, literally, and the thing about it is, when you say some shit like that, do you really respect the person? I'm never going to mention how much I don't care or didn't like the person. That's just unnecessary conversation.
It's just, she probably thought it was cute. I mean, I don't think that part is not that deep to me. Like, not just saying that, like, I didn't like him at first and, I eventually gave him a chance. Like,
I gave him a chance.
That's how a lot of people meet, though.
No, fuck no. If the thing about it is this. If we meet and we don't hit it off at first, that's fine. But the fact that it's unnecessary conversation. He's not my type or this and that. And I left him in my DM for 2 months. That's unnecessary conversation. That's reductive. You're speaking about somebody in a reductive tone. So when I mention the weight thing, it's still reductive.
I don't know how's that reductive though? She just saying that I didn't like him at first and then eventually I gave him a chance. How is that reductive?
I gave him a chance. You're making the dude sound like it was a job interview. When I don't like it. I don't like it. I would not appreciate a woman talking about me like that. You could keep that shit to yourself. You could tell me about it and we could laugh, but don't say that shit in fucking public. That is inexcusable. Don't be like, I didn't like him and he wasn't my type at all. And I left him in my DM for 2 months. Like, okay, good. So what, you was entertaining all the other niggas in your DMs? That's unnecessary conversation.
Everybody meets like in different ways. Like if it ain't that, it's probably a version of, it's just, there's going to be whatever version of the meet cute is like.
That's fine.
That's just going to happen.
That's fine. I just think, I don't know if it's maybe because I'm a little older. I just don't think it's necessary conversation. Personally, I just don't. I think a lot of people here in the modern world, they are oversaturating the internet with unnecessary conversation that does not matter. I just don't feel, I would not want to put the woman that I'm dealing with in any scenario in which it's making her look like yeah, she kept trying to holler at me though. Like I told her like I had a girl and then we didn't talk. And then she just kept on hollering at me until finally I gave her a chance. And it's like, that shit don't make her look good. Like, nigga, that's not fire.
People be meeting, man.
Man, all I know is it's going to be some resentment later on. Whenever that happens, like, yeah, she just kept chasing until I finally gave her a chance, you feel me? and we've been together for 10 years now, and you know.
I would say that I think what you're saying is, you know, like how you feel about it. But I will say, like, if the objective is to be married and have a successful relationship, you know, like, I guess that's the end all be all. However they got there, they just telling a story about how they met. I don't think they're trying to be disrespectful.
I hear you, but it's over a 50% divorce rate for a reason. Because the reason why is people, the way people meet is the same way they fucking break up. That is just how it works. I think ultimately there needs to be a mutual level of respect from men to woman to man. And ultimately, and I'm not no fucking dating guru or some dating expert or relationship expert. I'm talking about as a human being. Mm-hmm. I just could not see myself having any form of a lopsided relationship where, you know, I'm speaking in that tone. And it may sound very micro to people, like it's not a big deal. But if anybody is around my age or whatever, it starts to make more sense. Because I couldn't do that. Now the whole world know about me chasing you in your DMs and not getting a response for 2 months. That's embarrassing.
But if it's embarrassing, it has to be embarrassing to Travis Hunter.
Also, too, well, no, you're right. It's embarrassing to him because if I get in your DMs and you leave me in there for 2 months, I don't want shit from your motherfucking ass.
But he's with her though
because he's stupid. He's a young man. You got to learn from that. If I get in your direct messages and you don't respond for 2 months and all of a sudden you start responding, you don't give a fuck about me. What the fuck am I doing with you after you needed 2 months to contemplate whether I was important or not? That's the man's fault, actually. I don't even put that on her. As a man, you got to have more self-respect and not be chasing after a woman has displayed she's not with you. Because if she get with you, it's going to be lukewarm like a motherfucker. It's going to be lukewarm like a motherfucker. And when she get tired of you, she going to be tired of your ass.
I don't know. The reality of the situation is the relationship is going to work or it's not going to work. They either going to get married and, you know, we're going to see them together for the rest of their career, or it's not going. They either not going to get married, or you know they're going to end up getting a divorce somewhere down the line.
I feel bad for young people though, man, because there's a trend around like young women dating NFL players, and it's just that dude, that Cody Ford guy, the offensive lineman. He was dating this white chick. I forgot her name, but like her whole personality is that she had a boyfriend in the NFL, and then they broke up because the dude cheated on her. But like literally, she was going on a run, like going to different NFL teams, dating players from different teams, and like putting it online and stuff. And I'm just like, these young people, man, they're just ass backwards.
That was his girlfriend that did that?
What?
You said his girlfriend did that?
Yeah, there was dudes. No, she didn't cheat. He cheated.
Oh, he cheated?
But her whole personality was literally, you know, and my boyfriend and going to his game, blah blah blah, and then they broke up. And she was literally going on like a 15-part series of what happened in their relationship. Mm-hmm. And it's not directly related to what we're saying, but I just think a lot of young people are too caught up in giving too much information that's unsolicited.
Yeah.
Giving a play-by-play into shit. And it's like, man, look here. Whatever we dealing with, keep that shit off the fucking internet, man.
Yeah. I think me personally, I don't think it's that deep. I think I just only heard the clip. Like, I mean, I heard it, but I just only heard people basically reiterate what she said. I didn't see the context of that conversation. But I think that the position that she's put herself in is that everybody is like psychoanalyzing everything she does now, which is not good.
Nah.
And I think that, you know, if I were her or if I were, it doesn't really matter because it doesn't like, he's like, you know, he's good at football. So, you know, a lot of this outside stuff doesn't really matter. Yeah. But I think that if I were anybody like, you know, that was investing in Travis Hunter, I would just be like, yo, you gotta tell your girl to lay low a little bit, you know, just stay out of the spotlight, because, you know, the conversation is starting to move from football to like,
Yeah.
why is she sitting down, or why is she doing this? Why is she looking like that after the game?
I think multiple things are true, because I think that people that are hyper focused on what they're doing, I think the internet takes interest in things and it becomes just like a disease. Like it's bad. It's just a bunch of people that really have underwhelming lifestyles that follow a bunch of celebrities and what they're doing. And I think it's also true that you play a role in how you are perceived. So there's two schools of thought. There are people that have too much involvement, and it's also true that you have a say-so in how you are perceived as well. And you also play a role in either the criticism that is happening or whatnot. And you don't have to be a perfect person, but at the same time, you can't make the person you with look crazy.
Yeah.
When they're trying to do something basic, they're trying to take pictures with fans, and you arguing with him while he with the fans, that's crazy work.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's like coming to your girl's job arguing with your girl.
Yeah.
That's in front of people. It's like, no, bro, don't do that. That's bad luck. Yeah, I think we came to the end of this episode. Unless we have any more Jeffrey Dahmer references of how it smells bad, I don't think we got nothing else for the people.
Nah, that's it.
That's it, man. All right. Well, we emptied the tank on this one. If you made it to the end of this episode, we appreciate you. Thank you for listening to A Trucker's Mind podcast. I'm Eddie McGee.
It's your boy K Fings.
We're out of here.
Peace.